Rohit.
Jobs.
Okay, as a female, what do you mean by jobs?
You can do jobs like you have household chores, and they can do teacher.
Okay, so you equate being female in the United States with doing things around the house, domestic chores, and possibly being educators. Okay. Male Lisa. Yes, young man.
Although, right now, in the United States, the gender roles aren't as bad as 2,000 years ago. Us men are still viewed as one of the powerful, more powerful genders than females, because they can do more duty work. Because if you look at the construction workers and stuff, you don't really see any females.
Okay.
You see all males.
Okay, so you as a male view yourself as being a more dominant gender in the United States because they do more of the physical jobs?
Yeah.
Okay. Ivy.
Well, like people do government jobs, truck driving, farming.
Okay, Ivy, can girls not do these jobs?
I've never seen.
You've never seen a female truck driver?
Oh, okay.
Not once in your life?
No.
Okay.
Well, probably my mom, but like.
Okay, so we've highlighted jobs.
And in the presidency, because there's never been a female president in the United States for all 44 presidents.
Hey, that's a good point right there, all right? Our leadership in this country is predominantly male, okay? Whether we accept it or like it, it is a reality. That is an excellent point, Ivy. Any other points? Any other gender roles you can highlight in our society today that we might pick up on? Yes, young lady, Josh.
Women are allowed to serve in the military.
Well, it's not that women are allowed to serve in the military, and I'm happy you brought this up. What specifically in the military are women barred from doing? And this is actually changing recently here.
Having a higher position in military rank.
There are plenty of generals in the military who are female.
What about being president?
Mr. Liu, based off your experience last year in American history, you would know that the president is a civilian and not a member of the military. I know you knew that. Mrs. Liu, excuse me. Go ahead.
They can't participate in warfare.
What's that?
They can't do participate in warfare.
Combat. Women cannot be in combat roles in the military. But I'll tell you this, I listened to an NPR story this last week. There are a few women going through basic training for the Marines right now who are going to fill combat roles. For the first time in the 250-year history of that organization, we have women who are potentially going to go into combat for the Marines. This is they're a vanguard. This is a change that is coming. So this is interesting. Let's hold on to these ideas while we talk about gender roles in class clerk. Tuck those away, get out your chapter 6 notes. Tuck those away, get out your chapter 6 notes. JJ. Well, combat's usually when you're getting shot at. So if you're getting shot at as a helicopter pilot, then yes. Alright, so we've been talking about social relationships during the classical era. We have talked about slavery, the relationship between owner and slave, the relationship between people regardless of gender, alright, social classes, different power hierarchies. Now today we're going to talk about probably the most prevalent social relationship within our little existence here, that of gender roles, okay? Now, gender roles will stem from, of course, biological differences. This is something you've been very aware of since you became conscious as a child, that in fact half of the members of this species known as humans actually look very different than you, and they have different biological features. And because of this, these different biological features actually create differences between us. Okay, not necessarily biological differences, but these ideas of masculinity and femininity. There are different roles that you fill as a guy. There are different roles that you fill as a girl. Salvador, as a girl, you would know that. Okay? And ever since the emergence of first civilizations, you guys are very well aware that are we patriarchal or matriarchal? Everybody?
Patriarchal.
Implying what? What does that imply, Megan? that men are dominant. That's exactly right. Ever since the emergence of first civilizations, the Neolithic Revolution, men have been the dominant gender in humanity. Dominant in terms of family relationships, dominant in terms of who runs the society. We've already postulated some ideas here about how that came to be when we talked about this a few months back. But of all the inequalities, of all these power struggles, of all the slave master relationships, gender roles are the most widespread inequality in human history. It is the most widespread. Okay, you can look through all civilizations. Gender inequality will be in every single one of them. We need to know that. Now, of course, I like to put up my cartoons. This is just a commentary on gender roles here in the United States, especially during the 20th century. You've got boys are football players, girls are cheerleaders, boys are pilots, girls are stewardesses. Would this be a normal gender association that you would make? Hopefully this will change in the future, especially this pilot stewardess thing. Hopefully this changes. But this has been the traditional role. Okay? It is very real in our lives, and we need to realize it. Now, every single first civilization that we've talked about, all of them are patriarchal. Men are superior to women in all of them. There is not one equal civilization. There's not one matriarchal civilization. They are all patriarchal, implying that men have superior gender roles to women. In fact, where are my women at in the room? Yeah, there they are. Yeah, there we go. Miss Lou? Yep, there you go. Guys, I'm sorry, but the men in the room are preferred over the daughters in the room. So, at birth, it's your day of reckoning, girls. At birth, sons are preferred over daughters. Okay, all of these civilizations. Men had legal rights that women did not have. Where are my men at? Where are my men? There they are. All right. Hey, guess what, guys? You own all the property. Yeah, all right. You have all of the legal rights. You get to tell the women in the room what to do. And they have to listen to you. All right, see, so I hear sandwich, okay. This gender role was not talked about at the beginning of the class, but that is a gender role, isn't it?
Yes.
This idea that women are supposed to, make food and cook, this is a domestic role that they would fill in the United States. Once again, we're trying to fight against this stuff because I know I can make a mean sandwich. Rohit.
So, if we were like in a financial crisis, would they sell like their daughter into slavery, which would be an indication of patriarchy?
Would they sell their daughters into slavery if there was a financial crisis?
Yeah,
Yes.
If you had to
But as you already know, in China, for instance, you would want to buy a son instead of a female because the sons are status symbols. Maybe not the case in Athens, where you would buy a female, okay? There are, of course, exceptions. Now, in general, men tend to be the ones who lead a public life. Women lead a private life. That's in general. Men are the ones who go out, interact with society, make the world function. Women tend to stay inside. And men regulate the lives of women. Okay? You are told what to do, and as obedient, submissive women, okay, so the Mrs. Tangs of the world, you would listen to your husband or your father or your son. So, of course, here we've got a commentary on gender roles. This gentleman right here says, "Ooh, are those roles? Yep, my wife baked them this morning. They're traditional gender roles. These are pretty awful. Yeah, she should leave the cooking to me." Who can explain? Avery?
It's like, because you usually associate like a woman with like cooking or whatever, but apparently she's a really bad cook.
Yeah.
So he's better cook and she's cooking because he's a male, so it's normally associates him with.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting in that regard because they're talking about gender roles. They've actually
That's right.
yeah. But then, of course, he's saying, well, my wife is an awful cook. I'm way better than she is. So, of course, this is a commentary on the stereotypes that exist here in the United States. Now, and as you know, I love to mix Disney references in here because it makes life awesome. Now, women are traditionally seen as weak. They are seen as disruptive, and therefore they require protection. Where are my weak, disruptive people in here? There they